G'day, g'day, g'day. It's Mathematical KM or Keith Malumbi with round 5 of the Tuggeranong Chess Club Open. I was on 3 out of 4 and coming in the end playing on board 2 against Ray Tennant. Probably playing uphill about 200 elo points. Anyway, let's get into it. Very much a case of generating a nice attack in the opening, and a momentary lapse of reason might be the best title for this video in the middle game, but then some reasonable kicking and screaming for a while. So here we go. Let's take this back to that type of analysis. Okay. So I was a little surprised to have the white pieces, so falling back on the Stonewall. He didn't want to trade bishops. He's moved that bishop twice to... I think I'm making up some time here, which is nice. And in general, it's good to see that bishop trapped on that side of those pawns, we can get some sort of an attack on the king side. c5 is always to be met with c3. It's got a knight out, castle. Always take from the e pawn. And if we get our knight in there, always take with the f pawn so that we get our nice pawn chain. And we'll see if we're going to get that. Got it. And you can see it's all going swimmingly as far as the Stonewall attack. So far so good. Material is even, but plus 2.1. So we will see the point of zigging not zagging, no return-ish. Okay, Queen F3 was good, but much better was attacking the undefended pawn because that dark bishop's gone out. I was thinking about making a battery. So it was still good, but it's still up plus 1.8. We'll accept that, but there's a little thing for next time. Watch for the queen to attack the pawn, and then of course be threatening the rook. You know, it's just all good things. Okay, now in my defence, some people say en passant is mandatory. That's the kids at the school where I teach anyway. However, they're wrong. And a little bit more thinking. G-pawn forward would have been best. Attacking the pawn chain, and it's not like his pawn could take mine without an immediate checkmate, which would mean my pawn could take his. If he took back, I'd take with my bishop. I can see why I'm up 1.8. That was the move to play. And just in terms of opening theory, we're pretty much into the middle game now with done all the Stonewall pawns at the initial captures that are part of it, and even getting the queen out. So now we're into the middle game. It's all on me, and shoulda, woulda, coulda, which would have been another good title for this video. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Attack that pawn right there, and it can't take me, otherwise it's mate. The more I look at it now, the more I'm a little sad that what I did do was a mistake. I mean, still plus 0.8, but yeah. Anyway, so spilt milk and the rest of it. He takes with the knight. I was a little bit fixated in my head about this check, and if he came forward, sacking bishop, he'd take it, and then the queen would take back, and the queen would be beating up on this king with very little protection and an inability to get out. But that knight is a problem in terms of that initial check. So it's good. He's making a way out for his king, which makes sense. But I thought I'd go with this as well. Get the check, so we've stopped castling. And it's a great move, not coming towards the attack and just going the other way. I think chess.com's giving out great moves pretty easily there, thank you very much. But anyway, to keep cracking, we're still up a little. I thought I would try and swing the rook. The queen's got to move. I can see that h6 would have been better. Would have given me 2 pieces. Oh, it would have been beautiful. I would... What a shame. Have a look at this. Sacking the rook. The bishop takes. So it goes the exchange. King moves. Get your rook back. That would have been kind of nice. Queen went in the wrong place there. Let's get the other rook developed. Okay. I actually saw in my head the... Don't like my chances, but if he doesn't move either of those, then I'll go in and take that pawn with my rook. But that's the best move. Okay, we're both lining rooks up. I've got 2. And I know his king's got away. And I kind of felt that his pawns were come back to haunt me. In the end, my pawns are worse than his. But for now, I felt like I've only got 2 islands and he's got 3. And that one is lined up on... If we could take everything but the pawns off right now, I thought I'd be doing pretty good. So I've lined the queen up on his queen to the king. And if he moves his pawn forward, then I can take with my pawn, he can take with his pawn, I can take with the queen, and the queen's covered by the rook, and then we're still there, and then it's still getting the queens off. And I think I would have won a pawn. So he doesn't go down that path for me, the beggar. Okay, and he's just given himself a bit more ammo in that square that would be the fight if he moves his pawn forward, which he's probably looking at doing on his next move. So let's just take those queens off. Pawn forward. I've got a check there. And should he take me, I've got a choice of knight or bishop, probably bishop. I can develop, I think it would be nice. But he doesn't, he doubles up. I've only got the king protecting that pawn. He's now got 2 pieces in a battery. Okay, so it's 2 pieces protecting that pawn. The first one being a pawn, he's not going to be taking that in a hurry. So he's coming to challenge my g-pawn. Throw in a check. Bishop f5. Wow. That's a hard move to find. Bishop f5. He'd just take it. I do the check. He has to move away. I get his bishop. I'll forgive myself for not spotting that one, but thank you, chess.com. That was quite interesting. So I've just gone with the straight up check initially. The king's had to move away, and if I'd given my bishop up, then I'd be taking his bishop with my rook now. But we've just moved his king away. I've now got a couple of pieces protecting that pawn. Okay, and I've doubled up on the protection there because I was thinking if he moves that pawn forward and I go that way, then his bishop could take this pawn. It needs protection from here. And now he's going to come challenge it. It's not going to move like a knight, at least I hope not. Alright, let's challenge his rook. Should have moved my king first. That in the end makes sense. Because that rook, I'm forced to go to a square it would very much like to be on. Because, and that king h1 was a really good idea, were he to take the h pawn, my pawn can't take back because of the pin. And if I do something about the pin, he's just going to grab that one. And it's all kicking and screaming from here. Going down a central pawn, it's not going to be easy. Let's get those rooks off. He's looking at, there's not a lot I can do about it, getting that bishop in and eating my pawn chain. What I did was threaten his pawn, but he's now protecting it with his bishop. Bring a knight in, if I get the chance. Knight to here, keeping his bishop out. But he takes the rooks off and gets in before my knight can keep him out. So we go here, threatening that one, which comes with a check. So instead of just taking my pawn chain, he's seen the knight attack. I gave him so many opportunities to let my knight muck him around, but just unreasonably kept not letting it happen. So I thought, let's move this pawn forward. Should he take it, I'll take back. And that pins the king to the bishop, and we'll think about getting those off. But he moved forward. So at least these pawns are on light squares, and the light square bishop isn't back here. He's moved his bishop. Let's try and get my knight around. Maybe here. Another great move. Yes, I know. It's very hard for me to look after this guy. At the end of the day, his dark squared bishop with too many of my pawns on dark squares was the death of me. Let's get it on a light square. He takes, I take, he takes. It was already pretty bad either way, but bishop d1 apparently was better, just protecting that pawn with the bishop. And with the fight that I have in here with what I've done, I can see why that would have been better. So he takes, I take. Now, my current mission is, before this game ends, the A pawn must die. Another potential title for the video, the A pawn must die. So let's get the knight across. His king's coming for mine. Let's get threatened with tempo. He moves back, still protecting the next square for his pawn. Try and get my king across. Okay, I don't want to sack my knight to get that pawn. So let's try and get the king across. For now, his pawn will queen here, and his bishop cannot go there, because the knight's got it covered. So the king does look a little bit like it's too far away, but maybe it's got a bit of a chance. Not really protecting my pawn. I'm trying to get my king across. My king's across. He gets my pawn. Okay, his king is kept out. And my king can't take his pawn now, but if his pawn ever goes forward, the king can do it. If I were to take it with my knight now, he would take back with his bishop, I'd take with my king, and his king would then keep my king out, and it would be a very easy walk for his pawns. So that would be a mistake. Okay, so here comes another one. Okay, if it comes forward, this is very much kicking and screaming. Okay, so he's threatening that one. Knight here protects it and threatens that one. So he moves that one forward. So I've come here with check. He's moved back. I've come back. And, you know, this is a little bit of a... too many pawns behind here, but check. Forking on that one. Got it. Okay, and I'll give him another chance to go wrong here. Now, if only he'd done the very human king takes pawn, in which case I would fork the bishop with check. Unreasonable opponent takes the pawn instead. Now that's still, if his king takes my pawn, I've still got a fork of the king taking the bishop. But, so I'll leave that set up and take that pawn with my king. The A pawn must die. If only he'd taken the pawn, but at that point, I've killed the pawn that had to die, and I shook my opponent's hand and said, thank you very much. So there you go. That was a beautiful opening coming out of that Stonewall attack up 2.2. We've had a look at where it went wrong. And then the kicking and screaming was quite okay. And bye for now.